Everybody, it's me, Andrew. Get out into nature and tune in for yourself. Resonate with the Earth's electromagnetic field via 432 Hertz, the universal frequency. Balance out psychologically and emotionally, and further strengthen your brain and your heart's coherence as well. Get a plant based diet going for yourselves today and nurture yourself right back into life. We are literally herbivores in our nature. Further balance out your physical body's pH level and get with alkalinity. Then you can generate some static electricity. Send me some love telepathically. Set attention to your mind and set intention to communicate. That is all there is to telepathy. You are now tuning in to Great Days. So today I'm going to talk on quantum leaps and taking the quantum leap. Okay, so I'm gonna go in depth on coming into quantum leap. Okay, so let's get into this. Um, so basically, what a quantum leap is whenever you leap through space time hyperspatially, right? Usually, quantum leaps can happen. When you go like into hyperspeed, right? They have hyperspeed on some of the various different spaceships that they have put in the movies and whatnot. This is quantum leaping. Um, and if you go into the singularity of a black hole, I want to say you also take a quantum leap, right? So quantum leaping is pretty much where you are able to go beyond the third dimensional universe, beyond the speed of light, right? Into more of a hyperspaciousness, and you kind of come back into the third dimensional reality, and things you're in a completely different space-time continuum, right? Because you're traveling through hyperspace. So when you are able to get out, you end up in a whole different part of the universe, right? And these are possible. You can take these um, within your life. You know, the very same sciences can be applied literally to your life, right? So you can take quantum leaps, you can take a quantum shift, um, and they're very very simple as well to take. All right. So what you got to understand is that taking a quantum leap, it involves touching upon the singularity, right? And the singularity in the body can be found at the heart center, right? So what I mean by this is if you were to touch or if you were to go into the singularity of a black hole, you'd they say that you would end up in a whole different part of the universe, right? Through another wormhole. Um, and you had to go through hyperspace to travel and end up on another part of the universe, right? So it's the singularity, the infinitesimal point that is pretty much allowing to enter into hyperspace, right? So when you touch the singularity within your body, which is at the sternum or at the heart chakra, right? The fourth chakra. Um, the very same thing can happen, right? And not a lot of people are aware of this because a lot of people don't really get into the structure of the energy body, right? But the energy body exists. um so you can literally go into the heart chakra, right? The center of your being right here at the sternum. And if you're able to touch upon the singularity at the heart, you can literally go into another dimension, right? And when you do this, you can literally come into hyperspace, right? And as you're in hyperspace, you can you can actually exist in that dimension, right? Or you can just kind of like break out of that dimension by lowering the vibratory rate back within the speed of light, which is coming back or breaking back into the third dimension, because the third dimension is all vibrating at the speed of light. Um, and anything beyond the speed of light, you're getting into the fourth dimension, which is hyperspace. Um, so you can travel like this. You're traveling the astral, right? Or you're traveling the astros, right? You're traveling the universe in this very way. Um, if you go deeper into your center, um, and you activate the light body, which is literally a body of light, right? The chariot. Um, and if you activate it and you go deeper within the center of the heart, then you can literally break into hyperspace as you go deeper and deeper into that rays of vibration, right? Beyond the speed of light, which is what you want to do, because when you do this, once again, you're able to get immense downloads. For one, when you are in the hyperspace, um, you're gonna begin while you're in hyperspace. You're gonna pull in information at very tremendous speeds, right? And when you are able to break back out and you're back in the third dimension, you you're like extremely knowledgeable, because you've traveled the astrals, or you've traveled the universe via hyperspace, and since everything is hyperspacious, the informational download is at a much more heightened or accelerated rate. So things are happening much faster, right? So you can you're getting all this information, and when you come back into the third dimension, it's just, the information is sitting there, right? So you can pick at the information that you're able to pick up in hyperspace, right? And what quantum leaping is just that. You're using hyperspace, you're vibrating higher than the speed of light, until you break into a metaphysical realm, which is hyperspace, because the metaphysical is beyond the physical, which is vibrating at the speed of light. So if you're able to vibrate at the speed of light, which you can do once you come deeper, the deeper you go into your center, once again, and you touch upon the singularity at the heart chakra, um, you can raise that vibration to beyond the speed of light, and then you can come into the metaphysical, which the metaphysical is hyperspace, and it's beyond the third dimension. It's the fourth or higher. You can go as high as you want with it. Um, and you got to come back into it, though. You know, you got to come back into the third dimension sometime, right? So that means you got to come out of the metaphysical, and you got to bring down the vibration to within the level of the speed of light, so you can exist here on the third dimension once more. And when you come back, since you got all this information and you had this expansion of awareness from the hyperspatial travel, it starts to ripple outwards third dimensionally, uh, because this information that you were able to pick up in the fourth dimension, or the metaphysical, or hyperspace, um, begins to alter the space-time continuum here in third dimension, and once again it starts to shift things here in the third dimension, because you have information that you weren't able to access previously, before being able to break into hyperspace, right? Or the fourth dimension. So because you're able to travel metaphysically or hyperspatially, you picked up information from higher dimensions, and once you come back to the third dimension, you have this knowledge that is higher dimensional, and it affects the space-time continuum of the third dimension, right? At a much more accelerated rate. So things kind of start to change, right? And the more that you're able to do this, the more that you're able to go into the metaphysical or hyperspace, and the more that you're able to traverse it consciously, you can then use that information to manipulate or um to oversee the third dimension, right? Something like this. Um, so the quantum leap is literally you coming back into the third dimension after traveling through hyperspace, and ending up in a whole different space-time continuum that is completely different from the one that you were in previous to the quantum leap, right? Um, which it does, or it looks exactly the same. Everything is gonna stay or look the same. Like if you go into if you break into hyperspace while you're sitting, like in a meditation or in a chair or something, and you stay there for 30 minutes, let's say, third dimensionally 30 minutes, um, but you're there for like much longer, right? In the fourth dimension. So then you kind of come back, and you're still sitting in the chair, and everything is like just the way it seems, right? But things in the third dimension is they start to change very, very drastically, and this is because the travel itself, it kind of ripples outward, um and it begins to change the space-time continuum. So you're no longer in the same third dimensional universe that you were before you were able to break into hyperspace. You're in a completely different one, but it looks exactly the same, because that's the multiverse, and you were able to see the multiverse within the fourth dimension, or the hyperspatial travel. So you're able to literally come back to the very same, um, a very, very, very identical parallel, you know and if you master it, you can even traverse the multiverse, where you're able to like you're able to break into hyperspace, and then you can get into a whole different space-time continuum where you're coming back into the third dimension, right? But you're in a completely different coordination, or space-time continuum, you know um but the matrix kind of, it doesn't really allow um that type of stuff, because it breaks society, and it breaks the laws of physics down, and it immediately liberates you from a lot of different systems that they put in place to keep you um, within the system that you're currently in, right? So they don't really they won't actually just allow you to do that type of leap. More so, a leap where you come into a parallel that is completely identical, and everything is shifted to what the subconscious was aligned with during the quantum leap, right? Because that's what it is. The quantum leap or the quantum field is the subconscious mind, the fourth dimension. And when you're going through hyperspace, you're going deeper within the heart and mind, or you're going deeper within your being. Um, so you kind of come back into an identical parallel after being able to hyperspatially travel. Um, and from there things are rapidly changing, you know, and you got to really observe what the information that you picked up in the hyperspace is, so that you can kind of like observe the patterns throughout the third dimensional manifestation, right? So that you can understand exactly what it is that is happening, right? So quantum leaping, it starts with following the heart, right? So you need to follow the heart in order to be able to take quantum leap. So and it's kind of just like big progressive leaps, right, towards liberation, I would say. So like you do one little thing that you constantly see as something that is going to bring you immense joy, and then you doing that, it leads to greater and greater progressions, right? And the hyperspace, the actual experience of hyperspace, is just a deeper. It's like a deeper type of quantum leaping or quantum shift, um, which literally can come from going deeper into your being, right? The deeper you can go into the heart and even the mind, you can easily take quantum leaps, right? And you can even get the whole experience of hyperspace and everything, right? But this takes a lot more to actually get the experience of hyperspace. But you can take quantum leaps as well without that whole experience, um, because that's the magic of it, you know. And you can end up in a completely different universe because things start changing very, very, very rapidly. You know, not how they used to function before you were able to take the quantum leap, right? So you know that you ended up somewhere completely different in the third dimensional universe, um, but you return to an identical universe, right? And this is because their system set up for you not to be able to traverse the multiverse, because um, they don't want people doing that type of thing, right? But I mean, you can always do it if you know how, right? You just got to understand how exactly to do it, and you can kind of slip in between the matrix or the system that keeps a control of things, right? But I want to say you can easily take quantum leaps by following the heart, right? So you follow the heart, and you touch upon the singularity at the heart, the complete center of your of being, and then you're able to go into hyperspace, right? It's very, very simple. The only thing is that people they don't get this deep, or they don't get that deep in their lives unless the people are like willing to do it. The normal person doesn't usually get into it, you know. But but it doesn't take a lot of effort either. You know, it's like if you are willing and if you're a person who wants to get into that, then all you got to do is put a little bit of effort towards it, and that's it. And it ends up happening for yourself, right? But people don't usually even set their attention to do such, right? For the most part. But that's gonna be it for today's video. I do thank everybody for watching once again. Peace out, one love, and have a great evening.